I'm not trying to keep secrets. It's just that I don't want to announce something until it's like ready, if that makes sense. I don't want to show you the new pinball machine I'm working on and then have everyone build up expectations and wait for it for the next months, years. I'm not building a pinball machine. That's not happening. I promise you there's no pinball machine coming from me, ever. But there is episode 204 of Coast to Coast Pinball, which starts now. So let's go. Welcome to Coast to Coast Pinball. My name is Nate Shivers. This is the podcast commentary. I am a man out of quarters. How are you all doing? Hope things are finding you well as we edge deeper into fall and head towards winter. I know some of you have getting the cold weather already. Not us in Southern California. 70 degrees and sunny today. A little bit of rain, I guess. Coming to you not live from San Diego on a beautiful Monday night, November 9th, 2015. This year is almost over. Kind of flew by. It seems like we were just starting the year, and here we are. Lots going on. I know that I've had some emails that are stacking up in my inbox. We're going to do an email show very soon. That is the plan. We're going to do a full-on answer all the emails, clean out the email box. I'm about to go on a 10-day road trip with my bosses and other people from other departments. It's like a big, huge end-of-the-year trip. Probably won't get to play a lot of pinball, but hopefully I'll get to record some shows while I'm out on the road. I've been really wanting to get to this show. Gonna have a fun night tonight. Jack Danger from Dead Flip is joining us in a little bit. But before all of that, I think we need to get into the forum static.
Forum static.
This is a weird story, and it kind of came out of nowhere. Is Spooky Pinball making a Domino's Pizza themed pinball machine? It looks that way. I can confirm that that's apparently happening. So 3 days ago on Pinside, user Magog, M-A-G-O-G, posted, "As some may know on here, I own a Domino's Pizza franchise. Got an email from corporate today. Charlie Emery is doing a Domino's themed pin. Part of the proceeds will go to benefit a Domino's related charity. I'm in the first run of 50. If anyone has an interest, I can give out the lady's contact info at corporate handling pre-sales. Didn't know Charlie drove for Domino's, my home state in the 80s. Pretty cool to me. Anyway, big thank you to Charlie for doing this." Posts started flying in like, what is happening here? What do you mean? Oh, it's probably just some cheesy, marketing pin, some little gumball dispenser, as it may be. And then there was another post. Someone posted the email from the inside folks at Domino's Pizza, and it says, "Charlie now has a vision to use his skill to create a unique Domino's machine. Design will begin as soon as we have finalized our minimum order size. Our goal is to secure enough advance orders requiring a $1,000 deposit to build a prototype that will be featured in the Partners Foundation booth at the Worldwide Rally 2016 in June. Production will begin immediately after Rally, and approximately 25 machines will be built and delivered per month until the orders are complete. The final cost of the machine will be determined by the total number of orders. More orders lower the price, and the final layout of the machine, but we can safely say that they will cost between $4,500 and $5,500 plus shipping. A portion of each purchase will be donated to the Partners Foundation. Through this unique and once-in-a-lifetime process, we are hoping to raise at least $50,000 for partners." So that came out of left field. Now, Domino's Pizza, if you remember listening back to Coast Pinball months back when I went to the VFW Pinball event up at Clay Harrell's VFW Pinball Hall, Domino's Pizza was kind enough to actually sponsor what was then called the world's first EM World Championship. And I met some folks from Domino's Pizza, one of whom I believe is heavily involved in what we're now talking about here with Spooky Pinball, building a Domino's Pizza themed machine. I don't know what I can say and what I can't say. I do know this. I called Charlie because I wanted to make sure what I was reading wasn't just insanity, and I wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth. And then with the post being, put out there in public, I feel comfortable enough coming on the show saying, yes, they are going to do this project. The game will be designed. It will be a full-on pinball machine with dots and custom art and the whole deal. I don't know the details about people outside of Domino's buying the game. I have a feeling that could happen, but But questions start popping up with this because Spooky Pinball has said they were capping Rob Zombie production at 300 because that's what they felt they could build of the Rob Zombie Spook Show International game. And then so people started saying, well, hey, when are they going to build this pin? They're 25 a month? Talking with Charlie, it sounds like they're in a good spot with their new facility coming, with hiring new people, that they're comfortable and that they can build this. Now, what I'm guessing, and this is all just my conjecture and commentary, I don't think that, because what I heard is the sales figures seem to be, like the first 50 are already gone, and they're saying like there was another 30 or so, 20 to 30 games basically spoken for. I don't know if anybody involved in this thought it was going to be that big of a hit right off the bat. Maybe they did. Maybe Charlie didn't. Maybe they did. I don't know. But Charlie sounded very excited about it. The folks at Domino's seems very excited about it. And this is a good thing. This is like money in the bank for a company building machines and being able to, take orders on a game that they can churn out of their factory, keep everybody working. It's the whole, we're a manufacturer, blah, blah, blah. And the thing about Spooky Pinball is they literally are starting from nothing. And they built, this first game, America's Most Haunted, which I'm doing this podcast in the glow of the light of my America's Most Haunted behind me here. And they've worked their way up slowly, and they figured out their production capabilities slowly. And Charlie seemed to think he was in good shape for this. So that's all we really know. I mean, I don't know. Everyone started saying, is the Noid coming back? And I don't think they'll have the Noid. But there's a million ways this could go. I think it'll be an interesting story to follow. Certainly another example of pinball growing. Yes, I think it is. Is the outreach of pinball expanding? I think it is. I think this is good. I don't foresee, this is just speculation and a little quick talk with Charlie, I don't foresee this being, a hindrance to you getting your Rob Zombie game. I think they're fully aware of what they need to do with the Rob Zombie game. But what I do see this is more stability for an up-and-coming company. So it's fantastic. I look forward to seeing my pepperoni multi-ball mode or whatever it might be. So, I mean, there's a million jokes you can make with a Domino's-themed pinball machine. So, kind of random, kind of cool form static. I like that one. That's a good positive story.
Getting in bed with Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
Hey, Nate.
What you doing? You're sitting on the floor.
I'm doing my core exercises.
I thought we were going to do getting in bed with Teresa, but you're not going to sleep out here in the living room, I don't think.
No, I'm getting ready to get in bed.
The friendly listeners of Coast to Coast Pinball want to know, how's your knee?
It's slowly getting better, not as fast as I would like it to. But
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm supposed to strengthen different areas.
Well, strengthen away.
I am.
Have you been?
I'm good. It's parent conference week, so I'm a little bit fried, but I'm good.
Well, that's excellent.
How have you been?
I'm good. We're just getting episode 204 recorded here.
Have you been telling him about your video thing?
Shh. No.
Well, but you did like the thing with the Elwin dude.
Hey, Teresa.
You just said it sounded really good and
Don't
everything.
you, Teresa? All right, this interview's over.
Babe,
good night.
I'm sorry.
Bowen's cheat sheet.
All right, Bowen is back this week joining us. We're going to talk about The Walking Dead, and it's kind of funny because when we were setting up this round of Bowen cheat sheets, I couldn't remember if we'd done Walking Dead, you couldn't remember, and then I thought, oh yeah, we did it, but then all the rules changed, so I never released it. This game has had a lot of updates. The gameplay on this has changed quite a bit. You just released a fantastic Papa tutorial. Talk to me about The Walking Dead in its current state here in late 2015 and how I should be playing this game that seems to have new life and people really seem to like what they've done with the rules.
Yeah, when Walking Dead first came out, a lot of players would just go and shoot the prison over and over again. And similar to, say, on Iron Man, where you're shooting the Ironmonger over and over because it's eventually going to give you a reward, you'd shoot prison over and over again, it would eventually give you a multi-ball. Turns out now that the rest of the game has been built up and scored appropriately so that the right thing to do is to start bringing in other goals into the multi-balls and actually working on those goals during the multi-ball. And that way it's much more similar to Spider-Man maybe than it is similar to Iron Man. in that you have other things that might be going on at once that are also worth huge amounts of points, particularly the modes. Players often ignore the modes on Walking Dead because they don't know how to start them. And the way to start modes is by hitting the drop target bank on the left-hand side. And each completion either lights a mode or it advances towards lighting a mode. And then you can tell when the modes are lit by seeing the 5 big flashing lights on the barn, the CDC, the riot, the tunnel, and the arena, which are the 5 major shots. All 5 of those modes are very valuable. And they can be worth, I've seen over 100 million in any of the modes. And each mode has different rules. It's worth knowing those rules. The baseline rules that I think people would want to know about for these are that if you're playing multi-ball, Riot is a great mode to work into multi-ball because it increases value on every switch hit. Barn is a very simple mode to understand because it's simply shooting the left loop over and over again. And CDC is a very valuable mode at the beginning of the game where you shoot left ramps enough times to light the other shots and then shoot those other shots, then the ramp again to finish the mode. But any of these modes can be worth hundreds of millions of points. And there's 2 ways that you can add to those points. One is to double the playfield by shooting the riot shot after hitting 2 targets in front of prison. That's a 30-second double playfield timer.
Okay, so I have to hit both the targets in front of the prison and then hit the riot shot.
Yeah, you're probably not hitting those on purpose. At least I don't.
No.
Then you're like, oh, hey, look, those 2 targets got hit. Then the way to tell that it's been hit is that the tower will be lit in the back. And then hitting that shot to the tower will double the playfield for 30 seconds. Everything's double. It's pretty clear. But if you're in a mode and you're about to hit the final shot on the mode for 40 million, now suddenly that shot is 80 million. And that's a huge advantage. It gets even better than that because you also can put an X on the in lane. Every time you kill 2 walkers, it adds a multiplier to this X on the in lane. And that's a one-time only single shot, double, triple, whatever value. But
that's a multi-kill, right?
Multi-kill is something else.
Okay,
sorry.
so see, I can't keep it all straight. So you get the...
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know why they called it multi-kill, but they did. So this multiplier, the X on the in lane, it can be a very high X. It's not always 2X. So the thing people don't understand about that is that X can be any X. Every 2 kills adds an X to that value. So you want to save it up. You want to make it really big. You want to make it 4X or 5X and then save it for the one best shot you're going to take, which is like the final mode shot in CDC or a really big riot shot or a barn shot after you've racked barn for a while.
So I'm having to move that X around the lanes and not roll over it until I want it?
Don't roll over the X every time. I see people just saying, oh, X, bleh. And then they get nothing because they didn't have anything lined up for their X. But at other times, that X can be worth 100 million. There's a high score marked in the end of game for the highest points you've earned from using X. And it's very big. But a lot of players ignore it and just use the X whenever they feel like it.
Okay, so explain to me then a multi-kill.
You don't need that. No, nobody needs multi-kill. No,
nobody needs multi-kill.
Multi-kill you get by finishing a mode or making progress during a mode or a multi-ball. And you'll see one yellow light lit on one of the major shots. It can be any of the 5 mode shots or it can also be the well walker. And hitting that shot will give you 5% of whatever you've earned in modes for that entire game.
Gotcha. So of all the points you've earned in all the modes, when you hit a multi-kill shot, you're getting 5%.
Yeah, you're getting 5% of whatever you earned for modes for the entire game. So if you cranked CDC in barn and you got 200 million in barn, now you've got a 10 million little yellow light just sitting there forever. And so during multi-balls or during other times, that yellow light for the multi-kill may be worth more than whatever you think you ought to be going for during the game. And just like everything else, it can be doubled by the tower, or it can be multiplied by the X.
Wow. Okay. explain to me then Bloodbath, because I know that's also dropping the drop targets over and over.
That's right. Bloodbath is achieved by getting all 3 of the items on the left, the food, weapons, and first aid. And when you first knock down one of the drop targets on the left side, it locks in one of those items. It locks in food or weapons or first aid. And if none of the targets have been knocked down yet, it'll flash between those 3 options. And you want to try and hit the drop targets down when it's giving you something you don't have yet. So if you've earned food and weapons already, you've got to wait until it's lit for first aid, hit the drop target down. Once you hit one down, it'll lock in, and you can just knock the rest of them down whenever you feel like. Once you've earned all the items, then you get Bloodbath. Or you light Bloodbath, you have to complete the targets one more time to start Bloodbath. Bloodbath is an add-a-ball multi-ball where every shot on the playfield, every target gives you points, and completing the drop targets gives you a jackpot and an add-a-ball, and then continues the multi-ball. So, again, the points in Bloodbath by themselves aren't that much, but what you do is you have the opportunity then to just crush Riot or crush Arena or Barn, or also make progress safely to the prison or the West Welker or whatever it is.
Wes Welker says the New England.
If you're near one of the multi-balls, you can move into that multi-ball safely and aim at those things that are pain in the ass and drain you all the time, while you don't have to worry about them being drain shots.
So am I just a total rookie if I step up and start shooting prison and Well Walker?
Well Walker, yes. You shouldn't shoot Well Walker unless it's lit for a walker kill, which is points, or it's lit for multi-kill, which is big points. It's a super drainy shot, the Walker. The prison is not as drainy, and you actually do want to open the prison at the beginning of the game, because then it'll light the red shots around the playfield. So there's good reason to shoot prison. There's not nearly as good a reason to shoot the Walker. I pretty much only shoot the Walker during another multi-ball, especially Bloodbath. And then at some point, you just hit the thing by accident enough times that it's nearly ready for multi-ball.
Well, I would encourage anybody that's more interested in what has turned out to be one of the more complex rule sets to go watch Bowen's Poppet tutorial at poppet.org.
Yeah, I'd also say with this that this is great software. And when that game first came out and there was relatively bare bones software due to just the timing of this and the licensing, people went online and they were pissed. And it's like, just shut up. Let the people who are doing great work on this do great work. It's going to take a while. And Lyman Sheets, who did the programming on this game, he was very clear about this. Like, this is coming and it's going to be good, and just wait. And if you don't like the version that's out right now, then don't buy the version that's out right now. Wait until it gets good. But this is the way that Stern's been releasing their games. Game of Thrones probably the exception, but they've been doing that for quite some time now, where it comes out and it gets modified and improved, usually fairly rapidly. And I just think that people are not giving the programmers much credit right now, and it's they're doing a wonderful job.
I agree.
Forum static.
So it's weird when the forum is the story that is the forum static, if that makes sense. Pinside, which is the #1 destination on all of the interwebs for people to talk about pinball, to sell pinball machines and their parts and their mods, to argue about pinball, to promote their pinball things like this show. I owe Pinside a lot for giving me a platform to get this show out and find many people to come listen, etc., etc. And I donate to Pinside because I think that's important, because it costs money to run a website, and it takes a lot of time to do any project of that scope and size. Pinside's a busy website. So recently, Robin and his crew have announced that they made a bunch of changes to the layout of Pinside. We'll go through a few of them. I won't go through all of them. Just kind of a top-down look at it because it's a big deal. I've been asked to talk about it, etc., etc. So Pinside's a great site for one reason, because it's a fairly clean website. It's easy to get around. It's easy to navigate. I think their upgrade to the mobile upgrade last time they did a big upgrade was a huge step forward, made it much easier to browse Pinside on a phone. I like that a lot. I like, in general, the layout and the way Pinside works. I like the way the forums work, and a lot of what I'm going to talk about tonight is generated around the forums. So, one of the major changes that has sparked some controversy, and people are arguing back and forth about it, is the removal of the thumbs down system. So, if you don't know, on Pinside, a web forum, where you post something, historically there's been a button to press thumbs up to a post, to a single post. So somebody might say, I think Coast to Coast Pinball is super rad, and you could say thumbs up. Or you might see that post and go, no, I think that Nate guy's an arrogant fool who talks too much. I'm going to thumbs down that post. So you could go either way. Now, that's fine. You get to vote up or down. Like, I read Reddit, the website Reddit, which is all about thumbs up, thumbs down, basically. Vote up, vote down. Up votes, down votes. Pinside, the up votes and down votes, thumbs up, thumbs down, are public. Have always been public. So you could see who gave you the thumbs up and the thumbs down. And this created conflict oftentimes, because I might see a post like, oh, I don't know. Let me just make something silly up. Somebody might say, I played the new Stern game, Game of Thrones today, and that left ramp shot was super, super easy. It's way too easy to hit that left ramp shot. And I might be sitting here with my Game of Thrones machine going, I haven't made that ramp shot once. I keep rattling out of it. I think this is a bad post. I'm going to thumbs down that post. So user, anonymous fake username guy, who I just thumbs down his post, sees my thumbs down, and then he'll start thumbs downing posts of mine. Or he might call me out and go, dude, why the thumbs down? And now we have an argument about a stupid downvote just because I didn't agree with his post. Or I might just not like somebody. Now, I personally would hope that I could find myself above most of this, but some people don't. It's the internet. And you get into these thumbs down wars where people literally just follow other people around, and no matter what they post, they just give them a thumbs down, and it creates more conflict. I am so happy, myself, to see the thumbs down go away. I am 100% behind that decision. The thumbs down didn't do anything positive for the discussion at hand. I'm kind of a nuts and bolts Pinside guy. I want there to be threads about subjects, vast-ranging subjects, and I want people to discuss them and give their opinion on them. I don't want to have fights between two people based on, personal matters that don't have anything to do with pinball. It's nonsense. It drives me crazy. It's just like when the whole thing was coming up with the not safe for work images all over Pinside. I have no problem with not safe for work images. In fact, I might have a problem with not safe... No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a problem with not safe for work images, but they shouldn't be on a pinball website. So the same kind of, for me, goes with, let's not add a feature to a website and create conflict with that feature. And that's all thumbs downing was really doing. And people will defend it and say, no, it's a quick way for me to say I disagree with the vote. That's fine. But honestly, just because you disagree with it, who cares? All it was really doing was starting little petty fights, and people were holding grudges, and people's feelings were getting hurt. I would rather, if you really disagree with a post, type it out. Say, hey man, I see your post about how easy that Game of Thrones ramp is to hit. I can't hit it to save my life. What's your secret? Do I need to adjust my shot somehow? There's better ways to do it. The thumbs downing mechanism was just bad. Now, they left the thumbs up. So the thumbs up is still there, which to me, I don't think it needs to be there either myself personally. So now you have a thumbs up option on the lower left of the text box. And what I'm just scrolling through a random post here. And so like this one says one Pinsider gave this post a thumbs up. And then a few more down I find 3 Pinsiders gave this post a thumbs up. That doesn't really do anything for me, because I still got to read it, and then I have to either say thumbs up or nothing, right? So to me, having the thumbs up without the thumbs down, I don't know. I don't get it, because I don't. Maybe it's just me, but it doesn't help me like quickly identify the post, I mean, that's the whole goal, right? Is a lot of thumbs up. You can say, okay, what post is the best here? Which ones do I really need to read? And if you're in something like, I don't know, the John Papaduke thread, that might be a great way to do it. For me personally, I don't really take that too deep in, because there's sort of a popularity contest thing that happens on, hobbyist websites like this, where you have people who maybe speak the loudest or the most frequent become the figureheads for certain threads or whatever, and they get a lot of thumbs up. I don't know. Whatever. So I was really glad to see the thumbs down go. I think the thumbs up could be taken or leave. I don't care. At least it's a positive, right? Nobody's going to get in a fight over a thumbs up. They added in a post quality rating system on the upper right where the thumbs up and thumbs down used to be, and it's a little thing you scroll over and it clicks out 5 different options that rank from drain, which basically says this is a terrible post, it's a troll, it's an insult, get rid of this. Off topic, to like, hey, you just posted something that has nothing to do with this, boo. On topic, just kind of a middle of the road, this is amusing, I don't know, it's relevant or amusing. And then the bonus X smiley face, this post is valuable edition. And then there's the star, the special. I get what they're trying to do here. I think in a perfect world, if you just get enough drains, then the post gets hidden automatically. My problem with this on Pinside, and I'm going really deep into the inner workings of Pinside, and I know that isn't really very pinball-y, but bear with me. I have 5 options, and quite honestly, I'll probably never use them, ever, because I don't care enough to. I'm here to read the stuff, not basically grade everybody's take on every single thing. I just wouldn't ever do it enough. More likely, I might click drain if something's really bad, or there's something just totally off topic, or just not necessary, just in hopes of maybe a few people hit drain and maybe the post goes away. That might be my only instinct to really think. It's not for me. One solution I thought for a while that might be the way to do it is to keep thumbs up and thumbs down, but make them anonymous. And that's actually something I think Robin's thought about too. I kind of like that because, like, on Reddit, you see the thumbs up and the thumbs down, and you have no idea who's actually doing that. And it can be a subtle way, because now it's not a personal thing. Now it's not a jab at the stick. Now it might be an anonymous jab, but, like, I think that's less of a confrontational thing. If you just get a bunch of anonymous downvotes, you're going to get the message. If it's just one, very clearly, maybe you just have a guy who's after you. Whatever. That might be another solution. The whole thing, though, is these are threads. This isn't a Reddit-style forum where upvotes raise your post up higher in a topic. It doesn't work like that. So all this ranking and voting of threads doesn't really do a lot for me. I just want to read the stuff. So that's as much as I can say about that. If I'm Robin, though, and he doesn't want thumbs down on it, and even if 80% of the people are voting in the poll, they want it back, I hope he holds his ground. I hope, you know what, because in 6 months, no one's going to care. People will forget about it. I promise. One of the big other major updates was the new institution of a fee to sell products on Pinside. Now, this has been very controversial, and I'm actually sort of surprised and pretty disappointed in the fact that people are taking such offense to the fee. They've tiered the games, and this is, let's talk about the game selling, because I think selling mods and selling, parts is a whole other topic. But in the selling of games, they basically have ranked games as average sale price into a bunch of different tiers. And the example that Robin uses in his post is Junkyard, which is ranked as a tier 3 game, and it would be somewhere in the range of $3,200. That's the average range of this tier 3 game. And if you sell the game through the Pinside Marketplace, they are asking for a value fee of $15 for that tier 3 game. And if you were a Pinside donator, and you have the red heart next to your name, which if you're on Pinside a lot, you really probably should just go ahead and throw some money and get the red heart. You only pay 75% of it. So now we're talking about, math with Nate, $750, some dollars. $12.50, is that right? Nah, we're not doing math tonight. Anyway, you're paying 75% of $15. So that's not much money. And it's an on your honor system as far as I can tell, right? So basically when you pull your ad down, it says, okay, are you paying the fee, or are you discounted because you're a donator, or did you sell your game somewhere else? So the people with the kind of nefarious and negative thought process might think, well, I'll just say I sold it somewhere else. And they'll watch that, and if that keeps happening and they have reason to believe you're breaking that, they might not let you sell games on there anymore. And people have said things like, but I can sell on Craigslist for free, man. Well, you know what? Then go sell on Craigslist for free, man. Then don't use Robin's website. It's not your right to use a website to sell a game. Come on. Pinside is going to give you the most qualified, vetted potential customers on the planet. There is no more qualified customer than somebody who's in the Pinside marketplace looking at games. And if you actually sell the game, you don't have to pay to list a game. You can pay for a premium listing, but you don't have to pay to play it. If you do sell your game via this website that just brought you, through Robin's hard work and his team's hard work, brought you these customers, and you don't want to pay $15 for your $3,000 sale, I hope you stop listening to my show. Like, I really do. Just super lame. Super lame. And to suggest that, there's all these free sites. Well, you know what? Yeah, there's Craigslist. And Craigslist brings along its own baggage to Craigslist, because you don't know who you're dealing with. The great thing about Pinside, great, vetted customers. We kind of know who a lot of these people are, and it's out in the public. And it's bringing you pinball people. I don't know. I was really disappointed and just kind of saddened, really, at people's reaction to that. And a lot of people say, yeah, but I sell stuff there and then I donate. Well, now they're just asking you to donate more officially. You can still donate. And if you donate to the site anyway, you're going to have to be asked to donate a little bit less. And then, I'm just going to tack it onto the fee of my game. Really? You're going to tack that $15? Well, trust me, you were going to get negotiated down that $15 anyway. So just hold your ground for $15. I don't know. I thought that was silly. Absolutely ridiculous. Robin and his crew have clearly decided that they need to monetize Pinside more. Don't blame them at all. They've decided that instead of a banner ad bombardment, that they would go this route. I think that's fine. They know how many listings they get. They probably have a pretty good idea of some metric of what's selling on there, and they've put together a system to try and monetize the business and commerce that is being done on their platform that they own. And if you begrudge them for that, I don't know. I think you need to reassess your priorities a little bit. So, a little bit of a soapbox there. I just can't believe what some people have posted on there, unfortunately. There was other changes too. They added a basement sub forum. I need to click on forum here so I can read exactly the description of the basement. So the basement, Pinside Basement, Pinside's new off-topic section where the lights are dim, the beer is cold, and the moderation light. Enter at your own risk. So this is a place on Pinside that is for all the off-topic stuff that has nothing to do with Pinside. They're not going to moderate language as much. They're actually encouraging head-to-head battles of sort, which they're calling death matches. So seems like there's some activity there. I scrolled through it a little bit ago. And for those people that use Pinside as their main form of social outreach and social media and kind of their main hang on the internet, their virtual clubhouse, the basement may be a very welcome addition. To me, whatever. I don't really care. It's actually, I think it's a good idea because it pulls out some of the noise from the actual pinball conversation into the basement. So I think that's a good thing. So anyway, overall, to me, Pinside's great. I think the changes will sort themselves out. I'm sure there will be changes to the changes, but I love the thumbs down being gone. I think it's fantastic to ask people, hey, if you sold your game on my website, I'd love you to kick us a little bit of money for that sale. I think there's nothing wrong with that. So kudos, hats off to Robin.
Call the people.
Like to welcome back to Coast to Coast Pinball, Mr. Jack Danger. How are you, sir?
I'm wonderful, brother. How the hell are you?
I'm doing really well. So you just came off the internet? Were you just live on the internet?
Oh yeah, we did a extra long stream tonight because Twitch was acting up, and if people would have left my stream, they wouldn't have seen anything else. So just hanging in there for everyone else.
Well, I say you're a man of the people, Jack. So we gotta for those just catching up to where we are right now. Jack hosts Dead Flip. Dead Flip's a streaming internet-based show about Jack playing pinball.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most simple way I could break it down.
I think that's everything.
Okay, that's it. The rise of Twitch as a platform has been crazy, and it was, video games. People just streamed themselves playing different video games, sometimes with their little weird green-screened face hovering on it, sometimes not. When did you decide, I'm going to stream pinball?
Oh, man. So I came off like a really bad World of Warcraft addiction, and you don't really stop playing World of Warcraft, but the best way to kick it is to watch other people play it, and that's where Twitch came in. And I was watching all these people playing, video games and such. I was like, this is pretty cool. But then I came across Lethal Frag, who started a pinball stream. He's a big video game guy, but he did a Kickstarter, raised money to build a studio and start streaming pinball. And I was like, oh hell yeah! And Papa was doing this too, but Papa was only on every once in a while. So I was like, there's no reason I can't do this. And experimented with a lot of cameras, a lot of computers. Everything I had was trash. Some of my first streams looked like they were on an original Game Boy.
The world thanks you for doing all the work for us, for all of us that have tried to do little things like this.
Yeah, no kidding. And I try to share my experiences and information as much as possible, because at the end of the day, when I come home, I want to watch some freaking pinball. And there's more and more people hopping on there, and it's been incredible. And my contacts at Twitch are I'm working with them to create a look for the pinball section and all that stuff, and it's coming along quite nicely.
That's awesome. So you go 5 days a week, correct?
Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends. It all depends on where I'm at and how I'm feeling.
I did watch you. You did a Halloween edition where you hunted down a monster bash somewhere in Chicago.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful monster bash too.
Yeah, that looked really nice.
Yeah, it was at some random biker bar in the suburbs.
So what's been like for you? Because you weren't the first person to get on the internet and stream pinball, but you're definitely the first person to do it so consistently, and sort of garner the quote industry and the hobby and getting people on board. And now there's a lot of people doing it.
Oh yeah.
What's that like to see that kind of the rise of the pinball streaming?
I think it's fantastic. I get a lot of people messaging the Facebook or Twitter or all that stuff, asking me hey man, I got this going, but the cameras are out of sync. What can I do? And I'll lend a hand there. And honestly, Lethal Frag, he uses an expensive computer and some nice camcorders and stuff, but realistically, I only use $300 to $400 worth of equipment to get what I get out of there. And with some lighting and stuff like that, you can have a great looking stream. And the more people that pop up, the more stuff I have to watch, and I think it's freaking fantastic.
I had this period where I was watching it early on, and then I jumped back in maybe weeks, months, whatever it was later, and people were throwing money at you.
Oh, yeah.
Explain how that works, because I don't fully understand it.
Well, Twitch is a hard beast to explain to people, because no one really understands it unless you are a fan of Twitch. So it's sort of like, if you're sitting down and someone's playing, I don't know, some video game, and you're like, man, this guy's really funny, this guy's really good, you might want to look at it as you're going to a comedy show, or you're going to watch a TV show or something. If you just sort of pay people for entertaining you.
It's content. It's entertainment content.
They're doing it for free, essentially. And if you really like what's going on, you tip them, and very early on, you'd get $1 here and a message. It's like, hey, great job, keep it up. But now, more and more money starts flooding in. It's not a crazy amount, but when things get a little too overboard, I like to take a big chunk of that and pay it forward to charities and stuff like that, Extra Life.
Poor podcast hosts.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, sir. You're so kind. You're kind of like a pinball stripper in a way.
Yes, I am a pinball stripper. Except for no shirts off on Twitch. That is a golden rule, unfortunately.
Is it really?
I'd be making a lot more money.
I believe that. That's hilarious. So, what's been the kind of the modus operandi as far as what games to play, and how do you get access to? Because obviously you don't want to play the same game or two over and over and over. You want to keep it fresh. What's the approach been to that?
So I'm sort of a pinball babysitter here in Chicago. It's a great gig to have if you can get your hands on it.
Yeah.
But we have about 12 or 13 pins in studio, and we'll put up like a poll on Straw Poll or something and say, like, what do you guys want to see next week? And people will vote on it, and we'll play that game. But if it breaks down to a point that we can't fix it, we'll just switch over to a new machine that I just pick randomly off the top of my head. Or if a game's been out for a while and someone fixes it, I'll force that game to be shown. But really, even with like 13 pins, you get a little bored of playing the same stuff over and over again. So I'll go on location to like a bar nearby, or, if I'm going to San Francisco for some sort of convention, I'll go to Free Gold Watch and set up there and battle against people. So it's really sort of at my discretion whether or not I want to ask people what they want to do. But for the most part, you need their opinion because they're the ones watching. But yeah, it's all just sort of seat of the pants.
Are you becoming a better player with all this on screen or on camera pinball playing you're doing?
I want to say yes, but unfortunately, when I go to tournaments now, I'm like streaming instead of playing. So it's been a while since I've competed against people. I have people on the show that I'll play and beat the crap out of, but that's
you had a good run at Pinburg, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, dude, Pinburg was great. People were like, "Man, are you printing out screens like of chat and like taping them against the machine so you can pretend like you're reading them?"
That's funny.
Yeah, I feel like it has helped my game a little bit, but I don't know. I need to go into more tournaments, man.
You've had maybe, but boy, I want to say sort of unparalleled access to the Stern Pinball Company in the past few months.
It's uncanny.
Your relationship with them has obviously gotten real tight, and Gary and Jody and everyone there sort of like opened the doors to you on many occasions. How did that start happening? What's that been like? And what are the next 3 games they're releasing?
Oh, hey, great question. So let's start off with, well, I remember I went to Chicago Pinball Expo in 2014, and I was there with some of the original Dead Flip guys, and I'm just lugging around all my gear, just some little turd with my streaming gear. And Jody saw me sitting there, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I stream pinball." He's like, "Cool, do you want to stream the launch party for Walking Dead?" And I was like, well, yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, set up on a machine, and we'll tell all the big players to play on that machine, and awesome, whatever." And so we streamed that, and it was amazing. And ever since then, Jody's kept in touch. He's like, "How can we help you because you're helping us?" I'm like, "If you get us Walking Dead or, and it became this thing where their new games come to our studio about 2 or 3 weeks after people are allowed to buy them. If not a little sooner, and we show people how to blow up the games, and it's turned out to be great in both regards. Like, I get to show stuff people haven't seen, and Stern has reported, especially Lyman, through communication, like, my show is selling games, which is phenomenal. But I like the whole like going and hanging out with Gary and Lyman and all these people. That's very recent, and it's turned out to be such a big hit with everyone because they get to see people that they respect and look up to that you don't normally see out in the world, like just hanging out and having a good time and playing the machine that they made.
I think a lot of people were surprised to see Lyman Sheets come on to a live internet web show and play pinball with people because that's really not what we expect from him. He's sort of the quiet, behind closed doors type.
Absolutely. And what was awesome was during the stream, he like pulled me aside and everyone's like, "Oh, Lyman's probably yelling at him for something or blah, blah, blah." Lyman literally pulled me over there and said, "Man, I mean, I hope it's okay that I'm like reading the chat out loud and like answering questions and stuff." And I'm like, "Dude, you're like killing it right now. This is perfect. This is exactly what you need to do in this sort of format. You need to interact and you win. That's how this works."
You know, it's interesting because it makes me think about something I was just talking to someone else about Lyman specifically. I don't think that some of the old guard in pinball, whether it's the top players, the designers, programmers, etc., realize that with this resurgence that we're all, caught up in with pinball, that there are, quote, celebrities now. There are people in the hobby who are highly regarded. They're figureheads.
Absolutely.
And I don't think some of them understand that they're that. I watched somebody was talking to me at Expo and said, "So where are all the big players?" And I said, "Well, Josh Sharp's right there." And he goes, "Oh my gosh, that's Josh Sharp." I'm like, "Yeah, that's Josh Sharp right there."
Yep,
and he goes, and then Lyman walks by. He goes, "Was that Lyman?" I'm like, "That was Lyman." And he's like, "Do you think they would talk to me?" I'm like, "I bet they would talk to you."
Yeah, they're just super chill dudes, and that's what's so great about this whole thing is like, and I'm a little spoiled being here in Chicago because I was sort of taught to play pinball by Zach Sharp, going to like tournaments early on in my pinball quote unquote career. But I still geek out whenever like Steve Ritchie comes up and says hi to me or says play better constantly to me when I'm playing.
So this year at Expo, you not only streamed the Game of Thrones launch party, you actually hosted the Game of Thrones launch party.
Yeah.
And man, it was quite the scene in there. It was packed, the lights were out, the games were on. I got there right as Robert Gagnon was, destroying Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he was whomping me for sure.
That was awesome. And then you stepped up and played Steve Ritchie, and you kind of had a little battle with Steve Ritchie. How did that go?
The battle was good. He's a more agile player than I thought he was going to be. I don't get to see Steve Ritchie play hardly ever, and he was beating the crap out of that machine.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, he was shaking the life out of it. He was it was very impressive to watch him play. That is for sure. And honestly, just a huge honor to be able to be anywhere near those guys, let alone playing against him on the machine that he designed.
It's nice because it's a mutually beneficial relationship. It helps you build a fan base, build a listenership, or viewership, and it helps them get some of their stories out, get some photos out, get some video out of the actual game immediately.
Yeah, I heard a lot of stuff from people saying like, I don't like the art package. I'm not sure about the game, but the second the gameplay video came out against me and Steve Ritchie, everyone's like, you know what, this game looks pretty good. And
I might have been in that group.
And that's sort of that's the whole thing. It's like World Cup soccer. The game is a freaking game about soccer. I don't give a crap about that. The art's just kind of whatever, but the game is freaking fantastic. It's all just, it doesn't matter. The game could be completely whitewood. As long as the game shoots good, man, it's going to be a hit.
What are your thoughts on Game of Thrones as a player and someone just kind of observing it as the new release?
Yeah, so the code was a lot further along than I thought it was going to be when I first got on it. And I will say I fell in love with the Pro.
Yeah?
100%. I was in such a weird such a high energy situation playing against, Steve Ritchie and all these people on the LE that honestly, I'm not sure I even remember playing the game.
Yeah.
Just because I was like surrounded by these people. And really at the launch party, I had a microphone in my hand at the same time. So I had to like pump up the crowd. I had to play games. So I don't know that I can speak too much on that. But the Pro shoots so absolutely incredibly well. Like your hand just finds shots. And that's what I love about those games. I didn't see a lot of crazy center drains. The scores were exploding. And, there's only going to be more code attached to this thing. So
it seems like they really got the skeleton of that code out there at launch this time.
Hell yeah.
It's there. There's not going to be some major shift. Like Walking Dead, it's hilarious if I go back and look at some of the things we've said about Walking Dead over the past year and a half. It's this. No, now it's this. Now it's this. And now it's completely different again.
Yeah, I even said that on the stream with Lyman Sheets at the very end. I was like, man, this is a game that I didn't like when it first came out, but now I'm in love with it. And Gary's like, it was a good game when it came out. Now it's a great game. And I'm like, well, okay. But really, I didn't like the game when it first came out. But like that just goes to show like what code can do. And especially for a game that I felt had like a slight physical anomaly in it. The game's fantastic.
I agree.
Honestly, maybe top 10 for me. For sure.
I think a lot of people are starting to think that. And I think it's going to be interesting 'cause I believe The Walking Dead will be one of Stern's biggest sellers next year too.
By far.
Yeah,
By far.
they're going to
man.
sell a lot of those games still. That's awesome. Who else have you had on the show? Because I know you've had other players come in studio, and you've caught some people out in the world. What other players? I know you've had some great names come in and play on the show.
Oh, good grief. Art Dodd, who's a really good player. I actually had Lethal Frag on my show when I was out in San Francisco. He's an amazing player, obviously, streams pinball and video games. Like Jason Werdrick came over and played our Twilight Zone and showed us how to bang back, which was not good. People ask about those moves, and we try not to show them because they will get kicked people out of tournaments.
Yeah, or injured.
People kicked out of tournaments. I tried inviting various musicians and stuff like that on too. There's a band that's sort of blown up here in Chicago called White Mystery, and we did like a whole big thing on a Saturday that they got done playing Riot Fest, and then they came over here and battled us all night, and it was phenomenal.
Speaking of battling all night,
yeah,
you did a 24-hour pinball stream.
Oh, dude.
What month was that?
It hurts to even talk about that, man.
Was that over the summer, spring? When would we?
That was like, maybe 2 or 3 months ago?
Seems like it, yeah. So tell me again why you did that to yourself.
So it was on Twitch, and okay, it's hard to explain the stuff that I do for pinball to pinball people when I do it on Twitch, because there's two different worlds there. There's the pinball people that want to see the pinball stuff, but then there's the Twitch people that you have to relate to also. And doing a 24-hour stream it's a norm for a lot of streamers to like build up popularity, get more people in. It's like a big to-do. Now, doing it in pinball is a huge pain in the butt, especially since I decided I was not going to sit down once during the entire stream. To this day, my big toe on my left foot is still partially numb because of that whole situation. But it was great. We raised a bunch of money and got a lot of new followers, a lot of new eyes on the sport. Twitch was putting it out there like crazy, so it was just all thumbs up for everybody in that regard.
That's awesome. Tell me, and we may have talked about this when we were out live at various shows or whatnot, but explain to me once and for all, where did Donate to Kids come from?
So that's actually hard to say. I know very early on it sort of became, it was like a joking swear jar sort of thing. But at the same time, Extra Life was doing a big thing on Twitch. So like raising money for children's charity was like a thing that was all over Twitch at that moment. So I was like joking, donate to kids. And like the day we sort of joked around about that, I was like, this is stupid. I should actually do this for Extra Life. And signed up for Extra Life. It's a way for gamers to raise money through donations for children's hospitals and stuff like that. And ever since like the first, I want to say 2 weeks of streaming, we have had a link to Extra Life, down below our video that anyone could click on at any time to throw cash at this charity. It's a super awesome thing. In fact, they just did an Extra Life event over the weekend, and I think they raised like $6 million or something.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's bananas. But we also, it just became this whole thing of its own that now we use it to actually raise money for kids. So we did a big thing for Project Pinball where we raised about, I think $1,300. Then we raised some more money for Pinball Outreach Project. I think we raised about $1,600 for them. And this is happening in like the course of just a 2-hour stream that we're raising this kind of money for people.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So it started off as a joke, but it turned into an actual real good thing.
I think that's fantastic. I love it. I wish you guys the best of luck. Plug the Twitch feed for us. Tell everybody where they can watch you if they haven't already seen you, which I think most people listening to this probably know exactly who you are, but throw it out there for us.
Yeah, man. It's twitch.tv/dead_flip. Dead Flip. Also, if you just go to deadflip.com, there's links there to go to the Twitch channel and stuff. It's a lot easier to say.
And past streams are all archived.
Yeah, so most streams are archived on Twitch, but they slowly start dying off. But I take everything that I can that doesn't have a lot of random nonsense in it. I try to take mostly the pinball stuff and back it up to YouTube, and that's youtube.com/deadflippinball. You should be able to find everything we've done up until the Walking Dead launch party we did back in 2014.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Jack Danger, thanks for coming on the show tonight.
No, brother. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely,
You've been a big help in getting the word out, and I can't thank you enough.
I love what you guys do. I look forward to seeing you again, and I got to get out there and come battle in the studio. That's
yeah,
a
dude.
goal
Let's
of mine.
fight.
2016. That's got to happen.
Or I
right,
got to
man.
come out to SoCal, and we'll duke it out there.
Anytime.
Rock and roll, man.
Thanks, Jack.
No, thank you, brother.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is episode 204 of Coast to Coast Pinball. I want to thank Bo and Cairns. I want to thank Jack Danger. I want to thank you. I want to thank Teresa for trying to blow up my spot. It's all good. Love that girl to death. Until next time, which I hope is really soon, play more pinball, be nice to each other, and take care of yourselves.